It's so warm. Good morning. It is 6:30 a.m. on Thursday, July 3rd. As I start this, it is sadly the last couple days I have on vacation. I've quite enjoyed my 2.5 weeks off, but go back to work on Monday. Wrapping my head around that. Yeah. Well, that was an unexpected interruption when my alarms just went off. Um, anyhow, I have to wrap my head around going back on Monday. I need to plan some sort of meal prep situation to take to lunch. I am enjoying what's left of my current flexible schedule because once August comes, we're no longer going to be allowed to have our work from home days. I mean, I can still probably take a research day or a writing day or something. It all depends. There's a lot up in the air right now. We're having a big leadership change, and our school president just changed, and it's a whole lot of changes and stuff that I have no sense of control over. So I don't know what that will look like. But I'm trying to make the best of it, and I have been trying to plan out what that's going to look like because depending on my location, which I did start to make some moves toward maybe changing my location on some days. With my commute being so awful, I take advantage of my work from home days to get extra writing done because it's like, well, if I have a day without a 2 hour commute, then that gives me 2 extra hours to write. If that changes, then that's going to shift my life. And I didn't have work from home days, pre 2020, and I made things work. But the traffic was not as bad. There was less road construction at that time, so my drive wasn't as awful. And it was just, a different time. Like, I was definitely younger. It's amazing the difference at 5 years awake. And my health was better in terms of my migraines. Like, I have definitely seen a shift in hormonal migraines, but in order to fit in my writing, it's going to look a little different, and it's going to require a lot more discipline, even though I think I'm a pretty disciplined person as it is, but a lot more discipline to get things done at the end of the day when I'm exhausted. And that's the biggest challenge, dealing with my energy levels and how much or little of that energy I have spent throughout the day will affect how much I have left at the end of the day. I also am making a big effort to maintain my workout routine because that's also an important thing to me. I don't want to lose the gains I've made, the very hard gains I've made because I've struggled so much with injuries over the last few years. So it's been a year of progress for me, and I don't want to see that progress fall back. I started lifting last year in June, properly lifting. I felt I had recovered from my various injuries enough, and I was in a good place physically to start heavy lifting for me, because heavy lifting for me may not be heavy lifting for somebody else. It's heavy lifting for my not great body, for my ailing joints. But I have fit that in, and I've made the progress, and I've seen changes, even though they are slow, and I've been progressively overloading and all that, and I don't want to see that backtrack. I've backtracked a little since my neck injury situation in February led to those 2 months of migraine and eventually being diagnosed with a strain. I don't want to fall back again. I've now reached another, kind of personal little milestone where I've increased my weights again. I got back to baseline, and now I've increased again, and I don't want to let that go. So fitting in, working out, which I do very moderate workouts. I don't do hour long workouts or anything, but working out, getting enough movement, getting enough time to write, and like still live a life, still like cook and clean and take care of the cats and engage in other activities that aren't just writing or working out. Like it's a lot to balance, and that's been like sort of like top of mind right now. I've made it work before. I know I can make it work again. I'm coming around to just like accepting that some things will not be hitting the deadlines I set for myself. Um, Given the fact that it's July, even if I finish the draft of book one this month, um, I still have a lot of other work to do in order to get that ready to publish. So my initial like mental deadline of I'm going to put it out in October, I don't think is going to work out anymore. And I've mentioned that before. I'm still cautiously optimistic. I'm still trying to like hype myself up. But given that I'm DIYing this whole process, I still have a lot of work to do. And I don't want to like put this extra pressure on myself and produce like poor quality or like, half-assed like work. And I still need to like, format the thing, create the covers, sign up for an LLC because I have pushed that off. Um, just because I was like, well, I don't know when this is coming out, so I don't want to, do it too early and end up, you know, paying more than I need to at the time and stuff like that. So many decisions that still need to be wrestled with and things to do. But today I am going to do some reading because I've reached the point I've mentioned before where I am basically almost all caught up with editing and reading. So I have to like read, edit, and keep that going. And then I will also have to run some errands. I have a meeting today. That's also like the other thing. Like I'm kind of like dragging my heels on. I have a meeting because I'm on a committee and it's a volunteer committee, so it's outside of work hours. It's fine. But like, darn it, like why didn't I move this meeting or cancel it? I could have moved it to next week, but it was already so hard to get everybody on a set schedule, and it's only our second meeting of the year, so I didn't want to move it. But now I have to like semi get my brain into work mode, read emails and answer them, write an agenda. Oh, technically the agenda's written. I just have to update it. So that is that. I will be doing that today. I'll get that going and get some stuff going. I need to go either print out or pick up a passport application for my mom and for me. I have a passport, but I want a card. So I have to do the process anyhow. That makes me a little bit anxious because I don't really want to mail out my passport, but there's like no other way around it. So it's going to have to be done. I did order my passport online, so that was a good option. If you have a passport and need to renew it, the online option worked great. But in order to get a card, I have to do the standard mail-in, and I am kind of worried about that, but there's no help for it. I need to do the opposite for my mom. She's got a card. I want her to get a book. And it's the same process. We've got to mail it in. So I've been kind of holding off on doing it because she's had some stuff going on in her life, and I'm like, I need you to be available. I just need you to be available to go do this because there's no other way to do it if you don't show up. Like you need to physically be there to do the appointment style one and get your picture taken and all that. So just, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of thoughts and doubts and worries, but I will try to make it work as best I can. So welcome to second breakfast. I went back to bed because I had a migraine when I woke up earlier. That's why I was up so early. Not that I don't get up early, but I usually like get up, take meds, go back to bed. And this time I just couldn't sleep because of the migraine, and so I went to bed really early last night and woke up really early this morning, so kind of balanced out. But I was really drained and decided to just go back to bed afterwards, put a heating pad on my neck to see if it would help with some of the pain that I was experiencing. And it did. And I know that this one is like hormonal / rain related, so until both of those things reach a state of equilibrium, I'm just like, the meds aren't 100% working. They just kind of keep it at a low keel, but they're still there. So I made some baked eggs. This is the third time I make these, and I always have to check to make sure that they're fully cooked because I switched from like a little springform pan that was too big for the air fryer to these ramekins. I was still trying to figure out the right time, but I think I did it right. Yep. Yeah, I was like, what's that liquid? It's cheese. I put in vegan cheese, 2 eggs, like I think it was 2 servings of egg whites to boost the protein a little bit, some hash browns, and then I have vegan cheese all mixed in there too. It actually is really good. My idea had been maybe I could make this before work. It might be a possibility now that it's, it took 10 minutes to do it in these as opposed to like 20 minutes to do it in the spring form, because it was just too thick. So I could conceivably have these for breakfast when I want protein. I'm just not always hungry when I get up to actually go to work because it's so much earlier. Like, it is 10:30 now. This is a good time for me to eat breakfast, but I'll be at work instead of here. So I've never quite figured it out. That's why I end up eating toast on most days, because I wake up and I'm just not very hungry, but I know that if I don't eat anything, then I will just be grumpy. So I end up eating toast with something on it and my collagen coffee on most of my work days, and then I have lunch at like 11ish. But I feel like I don't get hungry that early in the morning, and it's always been a struggle to get enough protein in the morning. It continues to be my challenge. This was like my attempt to figure that out. But I may have finally found something that works. I don't like to turn on the stove. I have a lot of anxiety about fires and forgetting the stove on. It's a little OCD. It's a little bit PTSD because I had a fire situation as a child. So I know that that's just like one of those core memories that embedded itself into my young brain. And I struggle with cooking on the stove before going somewhere. So for the sake of my mental health and paranoia, I try not to. So this works because the air fryer, even if I should forget to turn it off, it'll turn off on its own. So I'm going to finish this and then tidy up, make the bed, and start writing. It is absolutely pouring right now, and I just hosted my meeting, so that is done. Only one person showed up, and then 2 of the official organization folks, so they're technically ex officio and not actually in the committee. So that felt a little bit like a waste, but it's fine. It was only 26 minutes long, and it's okay. Just, I didn't think folks were going to show up the day before July 4th, and I was correct. But at the end, whatever, it's only our second meeting, and the work to be done is still there. So I will reach out to folks and send an email and do all that mess, and they can check in at the next meeting. I did get a few pages written. It has been a very slow start. Like I said, I ended up in bed for a long time. My bed is actually a mess. I need to sort through stuff. But I started writing around noonish. No, it was a little bit earlier, maybe 11:30. It was a very slow start. I just was struggling. I think mostly because the little pain right here is very distracting, and that's really the big challenge when I'm writing, is if I am experiencing a pain day, it's hard to focus, and my hands like get clumsy when I have a migraine, so I start to like have a harder time with the keyboard and all that, and I hate it. I hate it. I want these headaches to go away. I can only hope that as I get older, they will lessen. I've heard enough tales from my mother and her experience, and my sister's mom and her experience, and just like other older women who are like, hey, my migraines all ended when I went through menopause. And I'm like, if that is the plus, then I will take it. But that's still a ways away. And for now, it's just a lot. It's every month, multiple times a month, with no resolve. So here we are. But at least I'm like halfway through the draft. I've reached the turning point. I've reached the part of Act 2 where everything flips, and like the challenges start increasing. Like I'm writing a friends to lovers, and the thing about writing friends to lovers is that in order to make it realistic, why can't two people who like each other just get along, other than it like potentially like damaging the friendship, in my story, is because there's a lot of baggage, there's a lot of like drama, there's a lot of complications from other parties and stuff like that. So in order to build in a lot of that conflict, it's like, well, they're gonna get together and then we're gonna break them up. So that's where we are now. They are coming together and soon to be torn apart through both internal and external conflicts. And that has been the piece that I worked at the most, and I think I'm satisfied with it. I think, it's an element of the plot that I struggled the most, to get right. At least I hope it's right. I hope that I got it right in the end. I hope it will be satisfying to readers, because I didn't want it to just be like, oh, miscommunication. It's like, no, I need it to be a little bit more than just a miscommunication. I need it to be a little bit more painful, and like a little bit more of like toying with their trust and personal childhood traumas and other stuff of that nature. So that's where I'm at now. I also feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like the second half of the draft may be a little bit less work. I hope. I might be wrong, but I think because I worked at this latter half so much, some of the changes I'm making now, the final edits that I'm making to the first half, have been just like smaller, like changes, and like changes to scene bits and stuff like that. Like I told myself I was not going to do this. I told myself I was just proofreading. That was a lie. That was a bald-faced lie. I have definitely been doing like a final round of edits as I proofread. So I'm going through and I'm reading it and I'm checking for errors, and I'm also going like, okay, maybe we can tweak this, maybe we can tweak that. It's my last shot to make this right, and I'm just taking it. If this is being delayed, I'm delaying it for good. For the purpose of good, not just for good forever. Like, you know what I mean? I'm delaying it for the purpose of making it better. And yeah, that's what I'm working on now. I have a couple more pages, I think, of the draft that I've like annotated. I was like, what's the word? I annotated it for edits, but then the rest I have to continue reading. And like I said earlier, I've reached the point where as I read, I can edit, and I'm basically matching, like keeping pace with my progress in reading the draft and editing the draft, etc. So I will get to that. And yeah, I just got an email from someone saying they couldn't make it to the meeting, but the meeting was 26 minutes in when it ended. So anyhow, I'm gonna go answer that, let them know it's fine. But regardless, I will continue this later. He is the cuddliest of cuddle bugs. He's been my little companion all day. Every time I've had to lay down because I haven't been feeling well, he plops on my chest And when he sees me sitting down, he plops on my legs. I think it's because when he was a baby, he went through a period where he had a very bad lice infestation, and it took a lot of rounds of bathing and treatment to get it off. And when I used to bathe him, I would then like put him on my chest to warm him up, or like wrap him up in a blanket, and we'd usually be very wet by the end. And I think he got used to doing that, and now he likes that. He's the cuddliest cat I've ever had, and I've had some cuddly cats, but this is the cuddliest of all. Yes, you are, little floppy boy. A little floppy wobbly boy. Yes. He likes to headbutt.